All right, welcome back, everybody. It is another episode of the Monty and Murdy College Football Show. As we told you on the last episode, man, we got Day Day joining us again, filling in for Monty. Day Day, what's up, man?
Chilling, chilling. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, brother. Good, man. Looking to dive into some Week 5 college football preview for y'all. Big slate this weekend, man. Big slate. Bunch of huge games. We got our predictions for y'all. We got y'all's keys to the matchup, what y'all need to be watching for these teams, and we'll let you know. We'll give y'all a little inside scoop on who's going to win these suckers. So, without any further ado, man, let's go ahead and dive in. First game on the slate is going to be USC versus Illinois, number 21 USC taking on number 23 Illinois, who we just witnessed get blown out by Indiana last week. And right now, USC is currently a 6.5 point favorite, at least on ESPN. So looks like they opened maybe at a 7.5 point. So slowly actually coming towards Illinois, which kind of catches me a little off guard there, especially after what we watched last week. Man, players to watch in this one. Illinois' quarterback, Luke Altmaier, going to need a bounce back game here and going to need it in a big way, in a tough way to get it, because you're going to have to match this USC offense. Head coach Lincoln Riley, he's going to be able to put some points on the board with Jaden Mayava. And they're going to be able to score here. So Illinois is going to have to figure out something that they weren't able to figure out against Indiana and be able to slow down this offense on the defensive side of the ball.
I don't think they got enough scientists to figure it out.
You know, they got enough scientists.
Mm-mm.
They going to need some more.
They gonna need a whole lot of help.
A whole lot of help. Yeah. Like I said, the spread on this one is 6.5. If you're a betting man,
It's gonna be more than that.
hey, lay it on USC here. Trojans will look good. They're 4-0, 2-0 in Big 12 or Big 10 play. And Jade Mayava's, he's for the season, he's 68 of 96 for 9 touchdowns with over 1,200 yards of passing. And the defense has actually looked improved for USC, which has always been the question mark when it comes to Lincoln Riley coach football teams, even dating back to his days when he was at Oklahoma. The ESPN predictor likes USC 72-27 versus Illinois, like percentage chance to win. That's kind of how they run, the analytics through and run through the simulation, whatever the case. USC winning 72.9% of those matchups. So even with USC traveling to Illinois and the early kick, so California boys are having to wake up a little, even that much earlier, I still think USC, they could almost run backwards and win this race. So yeah, for me, big win USC here. And maybe this will finally be the kick that needs to get Illinois probably out of the top 25. What do you think?
If somehow they win this, if you're a betting man, you bet your money on Illinois and you somehow win. I don't know. I just know after if I got beat 63-10, I don't. Man, you got to be a heck of a coach to pull your boys out of this one. I didn't have to go play a highly competitive USC to bounce back to win something like that. You have to.
Yeah, I mean they got to rally them, and they got to rally them quick. It's gonna be interesting to see if they can do it. I mean they're gonna be kind of backed into a corner here, looking, because I mean if you lose another game, if you're Illinois, you're most likely eliminated from playoff contention. At that point with 2 losses, especially whenever you look at like the remaining of their schedule, I just don't think they're gonna have enough quality opponents or quality chances to win. I mean, they could always beat Ohio State, but I feel like we're gonna be asking a lot there, right? So possibly even a third loss coming against the Buckeyes there. So just not a lot of opportunity for Illinois to kind of try to prove themselves. So after a beatdown last week, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if Illinois is going to be able to put up a better fight against USC. But I like USC, and I think Lincoln Riley's got that team on kind of a good track this year, and a tough draw for Illinois to come draw USC, especially right after that beat down to Indiana.
Yeah. It'd have been different if we had a close game or we barely won or we barely lost 7 points, 8.9 points, but 50-something points. That it was that right. The locker room, they probably still haven't spoken the locker room.
I don't know what you talk about, even if you were. I just don't even know what to say.
What do you say? Like, what do you, as a coach, what do you tell your boys after something like that?
The only thing you can say is just forget about it. You gotta flush it. Flush it, move on. Pretend like it didn't happen.
You got to purge the system.
Yeah. It'd do Brett Bielema a big favor if he could pull out one of those, the Men in Black?
Black hands?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
He needs one of those because, man, you can't be thinking about that beatdown you just took whenever you're trying to go through practice this week. But maybe they come out with a little edge. We'll see if they can make it a game early. They may be able to make it a game late if that makes sense. If they're able to get out and kind of prove to themselves, get a little proof of concept there, being able to maybe score an early touchdown, something like that. Be like, hey, we can do this. We can play with a team of this caliber. Maybe give them a chance early, but keep them around till late. But I like USC in that one, and I like them bigger than that 6.5.
I'll take that, and way bigger than 6.5.
Yeah.
Way bigger than 6.5.
Yeah. So we're gonna skip the next one. We'll save it for a little bit later. We'll go ahead and dive into a 2:30 kick. There's two good ones, so we're gonna touch on both of those right now. We'll start with a team we talked a lot about in the past week, and a team that we didn't talk a lot about. We got Auburn traveling to College Station, take on the Texas A&M Aggies. Auburn 3-1, Texas A&M coming off a bye week, 3-0. Man, Auburn coming off a tough loss. A&M is currently favored by 6.5 in this one. What do you need to see from Auburn in this one to be able to think that they can pull off this win? What do you need to see?
I mean, you're going to Texas A&M, and A&M could be the worst team in the SEC. When they get to putting their arms around each other and they get to swaying back and forth in the stadium, get to rocking, that is the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th man.
Yeah.
So you just got to establish yourself at the very beginning. Because I think that Auburn's going to beat A&M. You ask me, I'm a betting man.
You're going with Auburn over A&M.
I mean, I'm going with Auburn over A&M because Auburn played a hell of a game against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's better than A&M. And I'm taking Auburn.
Taking Auburn. That's definitely a hot take this week.
I'm taking
going for the upset.
If they come in and punch the A&M in the face, not literally, but they come in and they establish themselves, run game, pass game, whatever game it is. Defensively, they establish themselves first and do not let the 12th man get into the game. It's over. Now, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it's over because we saw A&M come back on Northern Dame like a incredible game and where they fought themselves back into it. So, like, I got hometown favorites on A&M, and I would like to see A&M do better than what I expect A&M to be. But I don't really expect A&M to be more than what I expect them to be. I think A&M's going to lose this game.
See, that's where I disagree, right? We've seen there's been an issue with Hugh Freeze at Auburn, right? They don't have a killer instinct, right? They're able to get up on a team. They're able to score and go up 17-16 on Oklahoma, only for Oklahoma to go drive down the field, score a touchdown, go up, and then Oklahoma just close them out with the defensive performances Auburn's trying to do a 2-minute drive. I think A&M has comparative offense to Auburn. I think A&M probably has some of the receivers playing some of the best ball in the country. I think Marcel Reed is playing at a really high level as far as
I do
throwing the
like.
ball and
I do
running the
like.
ball.
He has opened up his skill set. Last year he was gonna take the ball and run before he was ever gonna look. And then sometimes when he look, he's gonna throw a pick. But now I do like his skill set has developed to where he's more comfortable in the pocket.
But I think along the lines, I think Auburn's offensive line may have an advantage over Texas A&M's defensive line. So Auburn may be able to get to some more of that run game that they weren't able to do against Oklahoma.
I think they're
So
gonna attack.
you get a little more balanced approach there from Auburn, where you're not asking Jackson Arnold to do as much, right? He's not having to hit those deep shots on those 50-50 jump balls, which, I mean, Cam Coleman's fantastic, right? I mean, he absolutely cooked Oklahoma's cornerback, Cortland Guillory, who's a true freshman, just cooked him multiple times, right? Three receptions, 88 yards. Pretty much almost all of them were deep balls, except for the one in the corner of the end zone there, which was still a jump ball. But with that being said, and if Auburn's going to be able to run the ball a little more, I think they got opportunity there. But I also think A&M is going to be able to test that Auburn secondary, who were at a point where Oklahoma kind of wasn't able to till really later in that game.
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, you didn't really see Auburn's secondary really tested.
I mean, now we found out that their quarterback's playing with a freaking broke thumb on his throwing hand.
That's why they weren't tested.
Yeah, that's why they weren't tested. Everybody's like coming out of the game. I saw a lot of Sunday reactions. They were like, that wasn't John Mateer's best game, or whatever. And it's like, well, now you see why they weren't. Auburn wasn't tested, but they've shown to be vulnerable to it. Sawyer Robinson, whenever Auburn played Baylor, he torched them for, I think, almost 400 yards. And so, I mean, they had that vulnerability, and I think A&M has the receivers to be able to test them. Really,
a running back committee, they can run, catch.
Yeah, they can do it all. So the question for me comes down to is really A&M's defensive line, right? They have a lot of money invested in it. There's a lot of high potential recruits. Mike Elko is a defensive head coach, right? That's his upbringing. He came up on the defensive side of the ball. To me, it's going to be how is he able to scheme to be able to slow down this Auburn run game, and really you got to force Jackson Arnold to beat you. You need to be able to load the box, force Jackson Arnold to beat you, and hopefully you can win that offensive shootout with Marcel Reed and your high-powered receivers. Because, I mean, Auburn's probably going to put up some points, but you have the crowd there to help you out. You are playing at home, and like you said, it's one of the best home field advantages in the country. So we'll see if, especially when A&M's good. Even when they're bad, it's still a great environment.
Even when they're bad, they're good.
But when they're good,
it's crazy.
It's crazy, right? So I actually like the Aggies in this one. I like them. I like them right. The spread's 6.5. I like them right around that 6.5 number, maybe by a touchdown. But I do think they're going to be able to. I think they have the advantage on the offensive line to A&M's defensive line. I think they're going to be able to run the ball a little better, make their offensive attack a little more balanced, and not ask Jackson Arnold to be able to do as much to where they're going to be able to score a few more points against A&M. So I kind of like this one a little more high scoring. I would like it maybe like a 38-31, 38-34, somewhere around there.
I'm taking the plus on the Tigers.
Going with the Tigers. You're going with the Tigers outright to win.
Outright to win. Plus.
That'd be a huge win for Hugh Freeze and this Auburn team. So excited to see it. I'll be texting you on that game. Let's dive into our next big 2:30 kick, man. We got LSU going to Ole Miss. Number 4 versus number 13. And believe it or not, y'all get ready for this. Ole Miss is a 1.5 point favorite in this game.
Ole Miss has been balling.
They've been balling with a backup quarterback, dude. I mean, you could say but Chambliss, I mean, to this point in the season, I think he's outplayed Austin Simmons. As far as if you compare like both of their proof of work, like what they've put on tape thus far. I think Chambliss has outplayed Austin Simmons, and there's a reason why. That's the reason why they're not rushing to start back Austin. Get Austin Simmons back from his injury. Because the way Chambliss is playing, they have confidence in him. They have confidence that they can move the ball, and yeah, it's going to be a great showdown here between what everybody thought was a very well-known commodity and in LSU, but who, especially the way they started off the season with a big win over Clemson. Everybody's like, "Oh, LSU, this is the number one team in the country." Well, as you've seen Clemson fall off, does that make you now start to question how good this LSU team really is?
Boy, I was questioning LSU last week. I was questioning the week before last. Clemson, Clemson. Come on now, that's what we base this number one team or number three team or whatever they are right now. That's what we base them on. Their win over Clemson. Clemson's still trying to figure out how to put it all together.
And
So
it looks like it's imploding over there. I'm gonna be honest.
And I mean, and then again, Florida right now is the LSU versus Florida is the one game where people could talk about if we want to look at LSU as a whole. They had 5 turnovers and capitalized 1, all because the man ran the pick back. They didn't capitalize on any other turnover. You think that you're going to get 5 chances from Ole Miss to win a game? No.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point about this one, right? LSU's offense has not really been what everybody thought it would be coming into this season. They've put up at least outside of last week whenever they played Southeastern Louisiana, right, where they put up 56. The weeks before that, they put up 17, 23, and 20. And they put up 20 with Florida giving them 5 interceptions. Now, you already talked about how good that Florida defense is. I get that. But then you look at the other side, right? And you look at Ole Miss, and they got question marks on the defensive side of the ball, where Kentucky was able to put up 23 on them. Arkansas was able to put up 35 on them. So you do have question marks in regards to that side, is, where we think both teams are. LSU's good on the defensive side of the ball. Ole Miss is good on the offensive side of the ball. That seems to be a good on good. And then you got the bad on bad of LSU defense or Ole Miss defense and LSU offense.
Is LSU actually good on the ball? I mean, you can't say who have they really played to determine that. Like
that they're good on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, who have they played? Shoot.
I mean, there hasn't been really a good offense if you actually consider it. Clemson
DJ
hasn't been good.
Is DJ Lagway 4 picks or 5 picks or whatever it was that day? Is that making him good, or does that just mean like DJ Lagway ain't playing the best?
I mean, yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Because I'm going to take a high-powered offense. If we're going to talk about Ole Miss not having the defense to stop the offense that we don't know exists, but at least I know Ole Miss has the offense to score.
They do. That is a known commodity in this game.
Is Ole Miss off? Everything else is questionable. But we know one thing, that Ole Miss is at least going to score some points. So I ain't saying LSU won't score points, but whoever scores most points win.
That's true. The matchup predictor really loves Ole Miss here, winning in 73% of the simulations to 26% for LSU. They get the home field advantage to be able to help their defense out against a struggling LSU offense. And, man, the more you talked about it, I already had Ole Miss in this game, but you got me a little bit more convinced. Granted, if you're picking, this one's a pick'em game at 1.5 point spread. So LSU actually opened as a favorite. Now Ole Miss is the favorite. And I got to go
I ain't taking the spread. I'm taking outright win. I ain't taking the spread.
You taking Ole Miss, you mean?
Yeah. I ain't taking the...
Yeah.
I ain't taking
1.5 really ain't much of a spread. So, yeah. Ole Miss outright. We're both going Ole Miss there.
For sure.
We'll see if that high-flying offense for Ole Miss, which, I mean, Lane Kiffin, he's been doing it for years, right? They're going to score points. I just don't know if LSU is going to be able to match them and score points. So, yeah, I like it. I like it there. Give me the Rebels to upset the number 4 team in the country.
So that's a shaky 4.
That's a shaky 4, right? But they all are. early in the season, right?
Shaky.
It's a shaky 4. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead and roll on to the next one, man. Big Ten matchup where we finally get to learn a lot about both of these teams because neither one of them's really played anybody. 4-0 Oregon Ducks, 3-0 Penn State in Happy Valley. Penn State is currently a 3.5-point favorite in a top 10 matchup. Number 3 Penn State, number 6 Oregon. Penn State is, they're the known commodity, right? They're the ones who returned so much from last year's team that made the college football playoff. They're going to be so much better because they got another year. Drew Aller is going to be so much better because he's the known commodity. You can trust in what Drew Aller is going to do. And to be honest, what they've gotten out of Drew Aller is a lot what they got out of him last year. It just hasn't been. He's never been an elite performer. It's been consistent. Hasn't struggled with the turnover issues that he had early on in his career. But I mean, he's 57 for 88 for 4 touchdowns and 600 yards through 3 games. He's not lighting it up, and then it's not like Penn State's just playing a gauntlet of a schedule with beating up on Nevada, FIU, and Villanova so far.
Villanova.
But then you also got Oregon Ducks, right? With Dante Moore coming in, replacing Dylan Gabriel from last year's team. And there was a lot of question marks, how he'd be able to step up. Former 5-star, went to UCLA, transferred to Oregon to sit behind Dylan Gabriel last year, and now he's got the keys to the kingdom, right? It's his house, and he's been playing well so far. 71 for 95, 11 touchdowns. Oregon's 4-0, but I mean they've beaten at least better names, but still nobody that's really. I mean, Middle Tennessee, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, and then Oregon State.
Oklahoma State basically just put a whole bunch of people together and said, we're going to make y'all a football team. I don't know who's better.
They just fired their head coach this week. So
yeah,
who's been their coach for however many years, 26 something.
Now crazy. The players are able to hit the transfer portal because their coach is fired. So it's like,
yeah. So like I said, Oklahoma State not a good situation right now, but the ESPN matchup predictor actually calls this one kind of a toss-up. 51% Penn State, 48% Oregon. Day-Day, where are you leaning on this one, man? What's your keys to the matchup in this one?
I haven't seen Penn State play. Well, actually, I did watch Penn State beat up in Villanova. But when I was watching Penn State, I'm pretty sure they had their second, third strings in by that time. By the time I caught the game, I have watched Oregon at the beginning, I think last week. And I like Oregon's running back, the transfer. Can't tell you where he transferred from, but he's a transfer running back, and he runs with he runs passionate. So
I'm talking about Lamar.
Dude, does he got dreads? Got long hair? Yeah, that guy. He runs with passion. He runs hard. So I'm gonna take Oregon just because it's 50-50, and I haven't really seen either one of them play anybody. But I'm gonna take Oregon. I'm not taking Oregon because the quarterback, because I'm still trying to figure out him as well. Like I watch him in the pocket against these other teams, and you're just like, well, he looks comfortable, but he's not really getting under pressure. He's not really being forced to roll out. He's not look at his first read. It's not their second read dump. He's not put under a significant amount of pressure in these games.
No, this is going to be his first real test, right? And he's going into a big stadium. It's going to be his first time playing in a big away game in a big stadium. Happy Valley gets loud.
Actually, and it's wide out.
It's a wide out. Wide out.
I'm going Penn State, brother. It's wide out.
Penn State at night, dude.
Yeah, it's wide out. Yeah, I'm going Penn State.
You think he's toast in that one?
Yeah, he's toast now. I forgot all about it being wide out.
See, for me, so you're going Penn State.
I'm going Penn State.
And Penn State's also coming off a bye week, getting prepped for Oregon here. So
we had a week. We had 2 weeks to study, y'all. We may not be in fifth gear running motion right now, but I mean it's Penn State. I mean they've been doing this for years. I mean,
James Franklin, he's been there.
they
And
they, they won't take long for the oil to get hot.
yeah, I think it's going to be a close matchup. We'll see if I think Penn State with that noise, they may force Dante Moore into some mistakes. And the biggest thing is Penn State's just not going to beat themselves. James Franklin, they might not overperform, right? Me and Monty talked about it last season all year. Penn State is the definition of consistency. If they are favored to win a game, they are most likely going to win that game. If they're favored, if they're going to, if the odds are they're going to lose, right? They're the underdog in that game. They're probably going to lose. So they're just not going to rise or fall. They just kind of hit the mark. And Penn State is favored by 3.5 in this one. But
if I'm a betting man, I would bet the over just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
But I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. I think I had Oregon slotted for this one. I think Oregon's going to beat them again. Or Oregon will beat them this time. I think Dante Moore is a special talent. I think they may be able to score too many points for Penn State. But like I said, I have no feelings if Dante Moore goes in there. The environment's too big for him, and he struggles early. Gives Penn State a pick or two, maybe 1 or 2 turnovers. Then forget about it. Penn State's going to lock it up. So he's going to need to go in there, play clean, and he's going to need to prove that he's a better quarterback than Drew Aller. Because Drew Aller, what he's not going to do is he's not going to beat himself, but he's also not going to, he's not going to be the wow show, right? So you're going Penn State. I'll go Oregon there.
Yeah, I'm going
to get the upset.
I'm going White out.
Which I mean, it's tough. Yeah, it's a tough environment. Let's move on to the last game of the week that we got here. We got Alabama versus Georgia. And man, Alabama, number 17, 2-1. Early loss to Florida State. Got beat down by Florida State. Georgia coming off the big win over Tennessee in overtime. Day, who you got in this one, man?
Well, we all know that I am a Bama fan.
Yeah.
And then you look at the odds. People got Georgia winning by the spread of 3.5. But I do remember Georgia last week or 2 weeks ago having a really a tough time. They had to take it to overtime to win. And I believe if Alabama gets that Georgia, it's possible. It's possible. Because Alabama's actually been playing kind of decent ball here recently. I mean, they got out there front. I mean, you can't really count Wisconsin, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, the beating against Florida State.
If you're not counting Wisconsin, does that mean you are counting ULM?
No, hell no.
Okay, so that's the two opponents they played.
Yeah,
since Florida State.
I'm gonna take Bama just because I'm a Bama guy, and I believe I watched them get better. They're playing better.
Hmm? Or could Florida State be really good? It's a good question.
That is a very good question. Is Florida State really that good this year? And let's see. You really don't know because nobody has truly played anybody. We're only in week 4.
We're only in week 4, and it's early in these ones, man. It's tough.
It's hard to say that, if Bama lines up against Florida State again, is the same outcome going to happen? I don't think so.
There's no telling.
I personally don't think so. But we'll find out what Florida State is made of in week 5 because they got to go play number 2 Miami.
Yep, and that's going to be big. That's going to be huge. But in this one, Georgia is a 3.5-point favorite. I think Alabama is they're going to need to be able to win on the line of scrimmage. They're going to need to be able to run the ball. It's going to help if Ty Simpson is going to be able to find that newfound confidence, carry that in, maybe get some deep shots on Georgia early. Maybe make Georgia start playing back off the line of scrimmage, help Alabama run the ball, keep them in the game. Because you just can't come out there and just get thumped by this Georgia defense.
The moment this is the game Alabama has to win this game to even have any talks of SEC
Yeah.
playoff contention. They have to win this game. And that has to be in their players' mind frame. Like, we can't really go out here and lose against Georgia. We lose because we lose, that's fine, but we can't be our own enemy in this game.
Yeah.
Like, they just have to beat us.
Which Georgia's capable of doing. I mean,
Yeah.
they under Kirby Smart, I mean,
Yeah. They're more than capable of just beating them. Because you look at Alabama's schedule, they got Georgia, they got Vanderbilt, they got Missouri, they got Tennessee, they got South Carolina, they got LSU, they got Oklahoma. And then the last game of the season is Auburn. You got the middle of your season is all top 20 teams.
yep. That's just the way the SEC is now,
And
man.
that's how it is. And
That's
I'm
how it
okay with
is.
that. But they have to be okay with it.
Yeah.
I got the flag hanging in my bathroom. I got nothing but faith. But you guys gotta go play. Y'all can't come out there like y'all did with Florida State. You guys just cannot. Because Georgia's not Florida State. Even though Florida State didn't really play around with you, they came out with like an aggression. But Georgia's gonna pummel you.
Yeah. I'm interested to see. I mean, we'll see if they're able to get that consistency back. Try to. One of the things I was telling somebody today, as I was talking about Alabama, I was like, a difference between Nick Saban's Alabama and what's been so far displayed under DeBoer is just the consistency, right? Where you always knew what Nick Saban team, they may come out and lose, right? But you know what level of play you're going to get from them. It's always going to be consistent. It's always going to be pretty good. Or it's always going to be really good, right? But then you see DeBoer whenever he's got different games, right? Like the Oklahoma game last year where Alabama played them and just got beat down 28-3. While they're in playoff contention, right there on that bubble line, or one of the last few teams in the playoff, they come out and play like that. Or the Florida State game this year, where kind of rebuilding, restarting the season, and you come out just get thumped physically, right? Just dominated on as far as the line of scrimmage and a physicality standpoint from a Florida State team who's not supposed to be as good as this Alabama team.
I don't know. Florida State's leading the nation right now at number one offense overall.
Right.
Yards per.
They very well, like I said, Florida State very well could be actually much better than what we thought. I was just saying from a perception standpoint, kind of early on or at least what everybody thought going into that game. And here's one thing I do know is Georgia's going to be physical. Georgia under Kirby Smart is always physical. So it's going to be up to Alabama to be able to match that. I really think they need to get the run game going. It's going to be huge for them. And I think if they can get Ty Simpson to maybe get some of those deep balls, get some of those deep shots working that they've kind of found the past 2 weeks, or the last 2 times they played, that's going to be big to try to get Georgia's safeties to back up, get out of the box, hopefully get them to maybe play with some 6-man boxes, some 5-man, maybe even some 5-man boxes if Alabama spreads them out, and allow Alabama to run the ball and hopefully make this a fourth quarter game that you can maybe go win late. But I got to go with Georgia this one. Hometown, home team there. Gunnar Stockton. We've seen him be able to come up in those clutch fourth quarter games, which I imagine this one's going to be. And I just think the physicality of Georgia might be a little too much for Alabama there.
They got to do better than establish more run game because Alabama doesn't technically have a run game right now. So
yeah, and that's kind of one of the issues is that's what they need to find, and asking them to find it against Georgia is I think a big ask.
yeah, so I'm just gonna take Bama because you gotta stay with the boys. You just gotta stay with the boys.
You got to ride with the boys, man. So I'm going Georgia. You're going Alabama. Monty did send me his pick, so we'll get those to y'all real quick. Looks like Illinois, USC. Monty's taking USC. LSU, Ole Miss. He's going with Ole Miss. Auburn, A&M. He's taking A&M. And Bama versus UGA. He's going to take Georgia. So, big week this week, y'all.
Update: Auburn has lost. What I just read, Auburn lost one of their receivers to a broken foot. So Auburn's actually going into the game this Saturday with one less receiver.
What receiver was it? Did it say?
Let me just see. I just had it. I was just watching it as of 2 hours ago.
Let
News.
me see.
Auburn's Fields. Fields is
Fields.
out definitely.
Okay. Well, Fields is like their wide receiver 3-ish,
Yeah.
4-ish.
He's third ranked. He's ranked third on the team with 12 receptions for 106 yards and a touchdown this season.
Yeah, so he's like their number 3. They still got Cam Coleman. They still got Singleton Jr. So they still got some talent in the wide receiver room, which Auburn has one of the best in the country. So,
still picking them.
Still taking Auburn.
Still taking them.
We'll see, man. Day, you got anything else for this episode, man? I think this is a pretty good spot to wrap it up here, man.
What's your sleeper?
My sleeper pick. I have not actually thought too much about my sleeper pick of this week. I mean, I could go ahead and tell y'all that it's going to be North Texas again if they're playing. I think they have a bye week though. I just think they're a very slept-on team. North Texas, I think, is very good. Let me scroll through here, see if I can find y'all a good sleeper pick. Do you have any that come to the top of your mind?
I'm looking right now.
You're looking right now. So we're trying to find an upset, correct? That's the goal of this.
Yeah, it's upset.
So they can't be the favorite. Man, that's tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of football.
There's a lot of football. And upset picks are kind of tough to kind of pull off anyway because you got to find a team that you think is playing better football than what they're favored at.
Virginia is playing great football, but they're not beating Florida State.
I don't think so. Even with the look ahead, you got the possible look ahead game there. With Florida State possibly looking ahead to Miami with that big matchup coming up.
Well, Texas plays South Alabama, by the way.
They play South Alabama, yeah, but they're favored by 12.5. And actually, I think South Alabama may keep that one a little close. If you watched South Alabama play Auburn, you know that they kept that one a little bit more competitive than what it was supposed to be. So, UNT's got to get through that one there. But right now, UNT is my favorite for the Group of 5 representative for the playoff. If that's a hot take, I know I put out Tulane earlier, but I'm switching it to UNT. I think what they got at quarterback there with Drew Mestemaker, I think they can make some noise.
I watched Rice play the other day. Rice plays Navy. So.
You think Rice over Navy?
No, I ain't gonna say.
You ain't gonna say that?
You said Tulane over Tulsa? Is that what you said? Or Tulsa over Tulane?
I'll give y'all a possible hot take. Utah is traveling to West Virginia this week. Utah is a 12.5 point favorite. I think I may like West Virginia in that game. I think Utah is they have kind of one path of offense, and it all runs through Dampier, whether he's running the ball or throwing the ball. I think West Virginia may have found a little bit in their win over Purdue. Their win over Pitt. They lost to Kansas. They beat Pitt. Lost to Ohio. Then they beat RMU. But maybe a sneaky pick there for possibly West Virginia to see. I just think what Texas Tech was able to do to Utah might give you a pretty good blueprint on how you want to attack them. So I'll go West Virginia over Utah. Upset pick of the week.
Upset pick of the week.
All right, man. You got anything else?
No, sir.
All right, y'all. Well, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We hope y'all enjoy this weekend's slate of college football games. A lot of big ones on the schedule, and there will be a lot for us to discuss on next week's recap episode. And as always, subscribe to the show, follow the show on any of the social media platforms, reach out to us, follow us on YouTube, tell your friends about it. Like I said, that's probably one of the best ways to spread word of the show. And man, Dada, we thank you for joining in again with us, man, filling in.
Hey, man, get better. I ain't as nervous as first time.
Yeah, like I said, man, just give it a couple few and you'll kind of settle into the flow of it. So we appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. As always, check out the show and we'll catch y'all next week, man. Until then, peace.